IVM. Hey guys, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. Today's episode is kind of connected to the last one. So I hope that you've tuned into the episode called Insecurities. Because right now, I'm going to talk about jealousy. I'm going to try and look at this emotion of being jealous from a couple of different angles. And I hope that I can share some perspective with you on looking at any such traits that you may be displaying in your relationship, any such behaviors that you are acting out from, different angles. Because honestly, sometimes just looking at the same situation from a different angle can change everything. So let's first answer this. When do you feel jealous? Think about it for a second. Can you remember a time when you felt jealous? Maybe it was something that happened recently in your relationship, or maybe it's something you have experienced in the past in another relationship. Maybe when you were at the receiving end of it. We usually feel jealous when somebody else is getting something that we want. In a single sentence. So what is happening there? Well, firstly, we end up comparing ourselves to that other person. And because that other person is getting something that we want or something that we need, maybe they're getting it without even asking for it while we seem to be struggling for it. It can end up making us feel like we are not good enough and we are not worthy. What jealousy also does, or what it also points out to, is a lack of trust. Very often, there may be no real reason for us to feel jealous, but obviously some insecurity, some fear of ours is getting slammed, and hence it is evoking this emotion. Now, if you're wondering, what do I mean by insecurities? Well, tune into the episode that I recorded just before this one. So how do you deal with this emotion? How do you process it? How do you work through it? Well, I'm going to try and address that through 2 or 3 different situations. So let's take the first one where your partner is giving something that you need and want and have been asking for to somebody else without them even asking for it, and that is pinching your soul. Things for you to observe, things for you to think about in this situation are, firstly, have you communicated your needs and wants to your partner, and how have you communicated it? If you have been communicating through fights and tantrums and drama, then there's a problem and you need to listen to episode, I don't know the episode number, but you need to listen to the episode that's called Drama. Now, if you have communicated it appropriately, if you and your partner have had a conversation about it, and your partner has, understood what you are saying, or at least communicated that he understands and that he will work on it, and yet here you are, where someone else is receiving something that you have been asking for constantly, then this is a problem to address with your partner again, and this specific incident, without a jealous tone, but rather in a neutral tone, is what you want to bring to light. You need to explain to your partner that when he or she does this, when he or she acts like this with this specific person or with certain people, then it makes you feel like dash. Now, the second situation through which I'm going to look at this emotion and this sense of feeling jealous is when there is a lack of trust. In this situation, you want to ask yourself, why is there a lack of trust? Is there something that has happened that has caused it? And if so, are the two of you all working on rebuilding this trust, and how? Or is some insecurity of yours getting slammed, which means you need to work on your beliefs and you need to work on your fears? Now, the third situation is when you are on the receiving end, when your partner is jealous of Anything that you do, whether it is you talking to another person or whether you achieving something. In this scenario, you need to know that you are with an extremely insecure person and you have two choices. Either, or rather actually, the one choice that you have, considering we want to make the relationship work, is to talk to your partner and help them work through their insecurities, is to reassure them without breaking your own boundaries that you have placed. However, if your partner refuses to understand, refuses to feel secure, then you may be looking at a red flag. Also understand this. Sometimes some people aren't insecure, but they have a belief system around jealousy. They believe that in a relationship, feeling jealous, being possessive is normal and good behavior. If that is something that your partner believes, if that is a belief that your partner holds, then this is a red flag and something that you need to address. We often think that jealousy is displayed or expressed through acts of power or control. Now, don't mistake the behavior for the emotion. While the expression of the emotion may be power and control and conflict, the emotion itself is one of vulnerability and fear. The person who is expressing jealousy is obviously feeling insecure because something has happened in their past, in your relationship maybe, or there may be certain behaviors of yours that is triggering this person's jealousy. That also is something to consider. All in all, jealousy is a valid emotion. It's not a healthy emotion. It is a valid emotion. Or let me actually rephrase that, because every emotion is what it is. It is the behavior that is unhealthy or healthy. Jealousy may lead to feeling very low. It may lead to feeling very angry. It may lead to one person behaving in a not so nice way. The way to counter jealousy is through building security. Building security in your relationship without losing your identity or your sense of freedom. The mistake that a lot of us make is that in order to appease a jealous partner, we become submissive, we allow them to control us, and we allow them to take charge of our freedom of choice. That is an unhealthy way of countering jealousy. And in doing that, all you are doing is encouraging that behavior and encouraging them, or rather sealing their belief that is evoking that emotion. So be very careful about how you are responding to a jealous person. And if you are on the receiving end, then instead of backing down, instead of giving in, instead of resigning, you want to be able to have the tough conversations and express tough love. Yes, if I was to give it to you in a nutshell, the response to a jealous partner should be tough love, where you communicate firmly what is okay and not okay with you, and yet show them the love so that they feel secure in themselves, you, and this relationship. Once again, a reminder to listen to episodes called Drama and Insecurities. Also, before you set out to change your jealous partner, or before you set out to change your own jealous behavior, listen to the episode called Acceptance. Always start from there, and it will make the journey of change that much more easy. So on that note, I'm going to catch you on the next episode. And the next one is called Kindness. Make sure you tune in to figure out how kindness can play a role in our relationships.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I want to let you all know about 2 new shows that we've launched this week. The first one is Millennial Athlete, hosted by Tanvi and Shlok. Both of them are, they spent their life playing badminton, and they know a lot of athletes, and they want to talk about the particular challenges that athletes face. Really, really great conversations. Do definitely check that out. The other show that I wanted to mention to you that we launched this week is Naan Curry. Naan Curry is a show it's about food and the history of food and the economics around food and its consumption and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really interesting conversation. It's hosted by Sadaf, he's an author chef and former MasterChef India finalist, and Archit, who is a researcher who writes on behavioral science and economics. Definitely worth checking out. Besides that, we had a great week as always, right? Great stuff on all the normal shows. Do check those out. But with that, hope to see you again next week.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are two passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset and everything sport.
So tune in to the Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.